It was still muddy. He returned and informed Buddha about the same. After some time, again Buddha asked the same disciple to go back. This time the disciple found the mud had settled down and the water was clean and clear. So he collected some water in a pot and brought it to Buddha. Buddha looked at the water and then he looked up at the disciple and said, "See what you did to make the water clean? You let it be. And the mud settled down on its own and you have clear water." Your mind is like that too. When it is disturbed, just let it be. Give it a little time. It will settle down on its own. You don't have to put in any effort to calm it down. It will happen. It is effortless. Having peace of mind is not a strenuous job. It is an effortless process. So keep your mind cool and have a great life ahead. Never have your close ones, never leave your close ones. If you find few faults in them, just close your eyes and remember the best time you spent together. Because affection is more important than perfection. Neither you can hug yourself, nor can you cry on your own shoulder. Life is about living for one another, so live with those who love you the most. Relations cannot be understood by the language of money because some investments never give profit, but they make us rich.
Thank you very much. Very good. Yes. I have the email. I'm going to request Rahul to send it out. So, I could go along these lines, but there is a central principle, and I'm going to write it out, which we use in this. It's called this term of yajna. So yajna is any cooperative effort without ego or egocentric desire. Okay? So ego, so we're not pushing up that rock, and no desires that are egocentric. In other words, only for myself. But it is a cooperative effort. A cooperative effort is teamwork. Right? That's what a team is. That's what businesses do. They form teams. But how much time is spent in business meetings where people are trying to outshine everybody else? But if the rules of engagement are that you are supposed to shine the light of encouragement and appreciation on the other person, then the whole dynamics changes. The best rule of business I ever heard, which helped me a great deal in my career, was that no job is too difficult if you can get someone else to do it. Remember that. It's worth waiting cool.
It's also called putting the monkey on somebody else's shoulder.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, it's more like, not everything has to be done. Like, there's no such thing as an individual effort. I mean, I'm here speaking about things that the rishis developed 6,000 years ago that came down to me through my teacher. I am speaking a language taught to me by my mother. I'm wearing clothes somebody else made. I came in a car that was made by thousands of people. Technology developed by generations of people. It is a complete illusion to think that I am doing anything. I'm just a conduit for the talents of a lot of other people who stand recognized. It's not a exercise in humility, it's just a fact. It's just the truth. We have to recognize that. How often is that lost in business environment? When people say, I created so much value and I built this, Therefore, of course, I should get a $2 billion bonus while I'm laying off all these poor people. It's an illusion. Okay, so we are, if we come to, so I'll give you an example of a yajna because that's very important. A potluck is a yajna. What happens in a potluck? Everybody brings a dish. Everybody appreciates everybody else's dish. Right? People don't say, just eat my dish. Right? They say, you know, they say, you know, they even cook up some reason to say how they appreciate, you know, whose recipe is it? Can you send me the recipe? They really wonder. They're just showing appreciation for the food, right? And everybody samples everything. Right? So this, if we can apply this potluck method. Now, if only one person cooks the whole dinner, that's a work of art. There is a place for that. But when we have collective, then we are giving everybody an opportunity to shine. And something else happens, some other spirits created, because nobody is trying to say mine is better. They are saying, but however, suppose it's a potluck of ideas, which is also called a discussion. Now, in a potluck of ideas, after dinner discussion, what happens? Everybody talks. That's the dish. Not only do they want their ideas to be forefront and center, we want everybody to eat only that dish. And we refuse to sample any other dish. Because we don't listen to anybody else. Isn't this true? Often happens in discussions. Business discussions, very common. People are arguing because they only want nobody is listening. The biggest cause of hearing loss is ego, an inflated ego. I should copyright that. Okay. Look, I'm going to, I can carry on in this vein for a while because there's so much to cover, but serenity, creativity, focused work, the ability to reframe, you know, that Snoopy cartoon, you can look at it in different ways. That's how you come at truth. The ability to be kind in every contact. Like sugar is sweet in every contact, not just once in a while. And all of this comes from that feeling that I mentioned earlier of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is my family. Right? That's in your. So at this point, I'm going to stop, and we'll come back for a couple of minutes to wrap up. But this is the time. You see this? Two different ways of looking at it. This is also true. And this is the positive thing. Okay, the point is up. Okay, so now I thought that this is your time, and I'm interested, and I think Larry is too, in a share here. So here we're going to have a little bit of sharing of what things meant something to you in what you've heard in the last 4 lectures. What was it that connected with you? You don't have to write it down, just think about it. Yes?
Well, I think that we don't live in a vacuum. We live amongst others, with others, sharing, potlucking,
Yeah.
and this is growth. If
Yeah.
we're open-minded, we can grow from this.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're open-minded, we can grow from this. That's right.
It's almost like you learn more from a group than just one person, because you have more ideas and things to think about.
And more points of view. But you have to be open to them, right?
Right.
Yeah, Johnny, good. By the way, Johnny, would you mind telling the group how you live, where you live? There are other ways to live, go ahead.
Okay, my husband and I live on the yacht.
Oh,
That's been our home for 10 years. And sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't, because I kind of think I would be a wonderful cook if I had a bigger galley. But my husband wanted to do this, and I promised him that I would. However, I didn't think it would be 10 years.
Okay, Elaine?
Well, I was gonna say, something I've realized is how deep this topic is, and how little we really
Yes.
um,
It is
explored.
true. It is.
And also how deep this group is,
Yes.
and how little we've explored.
It's a beautiful group. That's one of the first things that I picked up. Yeah, good. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah. Could you just say your name and so that everybody knows? Yeah.
My name is Hilda, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the idea of listening,
Yeah.
particularly in our political climate and our tribal tendency towards tribalism. And so I think, I read this, so it's a mantra. When you're talking, you're just repeating things that you know. And when you're listening, you might learn something new.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. You know, I think in every dinner conversation, everybody at the end of it should say, what percentage of airtime did I take? And what percentage time was I talking? What's the percentage time I was listening? And I'll tell you, as I was saying, I gave you this example. I'm very guilty of talking and not listening. Very good point. Yeah.
That's what Dalai Lama said.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
wonderful,
I knew I got it from
Yeah,
somewhere.
exactly. What I'm telling is I already know,
Yeah.
but if I listen to you with care and mind, I will learn something.
Very good, Krishna.
There's a wonderful story about the Mayo Clinic, which I'm sure all of you know is a great medical center in Minneapolis. And this is a true story. They were looking for a new head surgeon. The surgeon retired. And it's a very prestigious job. So everyone who is a surgeon probably applied for a tremendous amount of
Yes.
applications. And they had trouble figuring out, well, how would we screen it? They all are great surgeons. So they decided the culture of that place, which is very successful, is very collaborative. So they interviewed all these people, the head surgeons, and they said, do you mind if we record the interviews? They asked them, tell us about the most difficult surgery you ever performed. And of course, people love doing that. Then they analyzed the discussion and analyzed how often they said I versus we. And anyone who didn't get above the ratio, they didn't even talk to them, even if they were magnificent. Because surgery, of course, especially a difficult surgery, it's like 6 people are in that room, 7 people. And they hired the person with the least eyes and it worked just fine. A wonderful idea. I think that's a great thing to
Yeah.
do.
So potluck, satsang is a potluck, so everybody brings a dish. This is your chance. Oh, sorry, there's somebody there.
That's great. It's more a question. I learned a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
I often 2 things. When I often think after a dinner party or something like that, my partner Michael and I go home and we try to say one thing that we learned.
Yeah. That's a great
or
idea.
more, of course, at least one. But
Wonderful.
also, I just like to ask this group and you and Larry, how can we change our national story? Why can't I don't mean politically.
This
I mean
is a wonderful question.
how can we go out from here or
Beautiful.
people we know and change it?
Beautiful question. Does anybody want to take a crack at it?
I don't mean
Okay,
by voting.
Barbara.
The reason I want to take a crack at this is
Beautiful, thank you.
as I was listening to you all talk, and I was thinking, accept the facts on the ground, accept reality, accept others' faults. And certainly strive for serenity of your mind. I'm thinking, well, what about the call to action?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm saying this very process, if anything, is the opposite of a call to action. And that was troubling me. And then I thought, and I'm thinking exactly about what you're saying, without being specific. And then the only example I could come up with where this would apply would be Gandhi. Now, Gandhi is an example of a sort of a universal serenity that other people are embracing. And that, of course, then we have the issue of short-term reality and the consequences of inaction. And how do you get people to act? You don't, in the short term, you get people to act by putting a piece of sand in the oyster, which is the exact opposite of what we've been talking about. So this to me is a dilemma, which I'm going to turn back to you.
Wonderful question. I think that both these questions are so important, and I so thank you for it. That book that I showed you in the first chapter, first lecture, was the Gita. And that Gita, there is a warrior who, faced with the dilemma of fighting his relatives, puts down his bow and arrow, which represents his power, becomes powerless, and the rest of that thing is a call of action to bring him back to a status of warrior. So it's the whole purpose of wisdom is to act. And so I hope that this will come out. The person who acts out of wisdom is called a karma yogi. Karma, it means
Action.
and this is the tradition in almost all religions. In Jewish tradition, it is called tikkun olam. In Christianity, is do unto others. That is, the emphasis is on do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's not do nothing. It is do unto others. So you have to act. In the olden times, the term was warrior. In modern times, the term I'm suggesting to you is activist. We all have to be activists. Accepting reality does not mean attempting to improve it. We have an obligation to make things better. That's the fundamental principle of wisdom. Thank you, Mathur. Really, missed the whole thing. We have to be activists. This young girl came. Oh, I think I already told the story. Sorry, not my turn to speak. Who else?
Right? Miles. I was thinking how we talk about a positive state of mind and a negative state of mind. I think how they change. And the positive state of mind being longboat key. You look at each one, you couldn't beat it. And then you think about buying a condo. And all of a sudden, the risks start to grow and grow and grow, and your mind turns negative. So, I don't know where the balance is.
Okay, so here's what it is. We've been given something called a channel switching. There's a negative channel, there's a positive channel. Actually, there are many channels. There's a sports channel, there's a food channel, I gotta lose weight channel. There's all these channels. We have a channel switch. We can choose to shift the focus of our attention to what we want. We don't use it. And when we are sick, that channel switcher doesn't work. You need a new battery, like the remote. So we've got to learn how to use the channel switcher, basically. Yeah.
I think one of the things that is very much on my mind all over, but the class has helped, is to reestablish the sense of gratitude. And when I'm aware of from whence I have come, I grew up in Mathur near North Andover, in Massachusetts. Okay, Daddy we owned a fruit store.
Yes.
And I'm living on Longboat Key.
Yeah.
And I think about being here, what my late husband and we were educators, and I think about what I've always loved to do, again, through my parents, little fruit store, community, we did things. We didn't have money to give, but we had time and energy. And the profession I chose was part of that. Didn't make a lot of money, but gave me a heck of a wonderful life. And here I am on Longboat, and while I take classes, I'm also looking for my own ways of giving back to the community. And those are the things that have made me happy. And sometimes I've had to stand up to others who say, what do you mean you're not coming to lunch? What do you mean you don't go shopping over there? I said, hey, it's not me. This is not what makes me happy. It's not what fulfills me. And throughout these 4 weeks, listening to both of you and my classmates, I've been reinforced in the fact that I like me and I like what I'm doing and I want to keep doing what I'm doing.
This is exactly the right. This approach to life, to be kind, to give, and actually I prefer, if I can use, giving says I need, that is you, so I give. But sharing, which is more a potluck kind of approach, and I think that's what you do, creates an enormous energy in a human being. as soon as the spirit of sharing comes, the interference from that rot